David, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do and how you got to this point, actually? Great.
Yeah, sure. In a nutshell. So my name is David Symons. I'm London-based. I'm UK Director of Sustainability for WSP. WSP is a 48,000 strong design practice. The projects that we're working on range from the projects like Crossrail, HS2, probably two of our biggest projects, and an infrastructure world through to buildings. The Shard continues to be one of the shining examples of our work. I lead a program in WSP which we call Future Ready, which is all about seeing the future more clearly and then challenging every one of our 48,000 designers to design both for future climate, future society, future resources, and future technology. So that's a program that I set up 4 years ago. It's now going to be one of the underpinning themes of our new global strategy. It's absolutely one of the things that is defining WSP. I've been in WSP for about 13 years. Before that, I worked for gosh, probably longer than I would choose to admit, about 28 years as an environmental consultant.
Oh my goodness, you don't look the age.
So, well, that's the thing about the environmental profession, is it keeps you young.
Tell me a bit more about this. This future program. It sounds incredibly interesting. How do you future-proof buildings?
Sure. Well, I mean, look, the starting point for us to think about this is what we design is there for a long time. So if we design London Bridge Station, for example, which has just reopened, the design life that we get given by Network Rail, our client there, is 120 years. So that's absolutely typical. We know, because we've done some purposeful research, that, and it stands to reason that the world is going to be quite different over those coming 120 years. So just think obviously about what is future climate. We'll just think also about who is going to be using that station over the next 120 years will be quite different. Londoners will be different, their needs, their wants, their expectations. Technology is going to change a huge amount, and also resources and resource availability will change. We know that if we just follow design codes, and that's very often the sort of the first thing that design teams go to. Design codes anticipate some of the trends that we'll expect, but absolutely by no means all.
But so is it all about flexibility then?
Flexibility is a huge, but not necessarily the only answer, but is a very important one. So, I mean, just as an example, if you think about, if we design a hospital now, Sahlgrenska Hospital in Gothenburg has just opened. The design life for that is 70 years. If we think about the hospitals like Park Hospital in Trafford, that's a 70-year-old hospital. It was the first hospital that opened in the NHS. When that opened, that was treating tuberculosis and World War II injuries. It's obviously not, thankfully, treating too much of that now. So the hospitals we design now have to be flexible to treat the heart disease and the cancer and the like that they treat today. But in 70 years, it will be much more lifestyle illnesses rather than cancer. It will be geriatric care and the like, and also how those hospitals function will completely change too.
So David, tell me, so obviously you had a very long career at this point, and you are a recognized person of influence in this industry. You won an award as well recently, I heard. So what did you do to get to this point? So is it just hard work and and doing day-to-day and being curious, or is there something else that in the recipe that you can share?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is hard work, and it is being curious. I think flexibility is also important as well, because what I was working on, when I started work in the industry, what I'm doing now is really completely different from what I was doing. Tenacity. Because look, I mean, programs like Future Ready didn't just happen by yes, suddenly light bulb moment and it's sold across the business. There's been quite a lot of work and tenacity and dead ends and the like to get us where we are now. Successful programs from a business perspective are reliant both on a technical, what are you going to do, but also a management and business case for how do you actually implement it. And it's the how that is almost more important than the technical what. Some years ago, I led a program to develop the global refrigeration strategy for one of the world's biggest retailers. Technically, that took us about 3 months to come up with that answer. We then spent 6 months, so 2/3 of the budget for this commission, then consulting, selling that into the business, talking to people, repeating probably the same 6-slide presentation, probably about 50 times to different people, different leaders, different market, just understanding how does that play to you? Are there anything else that you would say? Do you agree? When do we launch this program? That's a real light bulb moment for me, really, that as technical people, which is really where most of us started in environmental and sustainability consultancy. You can have a technical what, but you've got to then put as much, if not more, time into the how do we actually execute and deliver that out.
So you spend a lot of time actually talking to stakeholders. You spend a lot of time talking to people that will actually use the system. And I think that's something that sometimes is missing. Not that we don't talk to people, but sometimes we assume they know, and we assume we understand what they want.
Yeah.
Probably that's a key element as well.
Last year, we had 1,000 new people who joined our business in the UK. Just even standing still, just thinking about how do we make sure that those 1,000 new starters get a good understanding of what our vision is for Future Ready and how they can be a part of it. That's an enormous communication exercise. So a very, very large amount of my time is spent on, giving presentations, on webinars, on engagement. You cannot underestimate the importance of communication and the how and persistence on it. And keeping it very simple, keeping it accessible, and also making it aspirational as well. Simply because if we dress them up and make it mega science, then that's not understandable. If we just talk about it in a sort of a shrill capacity, then that's a turn off. It has to be really involving as well. So what I found with Future Ready is I give the challenge to our engineers and our design teams to say, look guys, you're the clever people designing London Bridge, HS2 and the like. If it's going to be there for 120 years, this is where we will see the future going to be. How would you use your brilliance to do that? And then they get involved and they're part of it. And I suppose also, because we are a business as well, is also from right from the outset with Future Ready, I've connected that to clients. But right now, we are now tracking where is Future Ready, some of the win themes in our bids. So I can now then say, right, so last month in the UK, we won £9 million of work directly with Future Ready as a key win theme. What's not to love about that from a business case perspective?
No, that's amazing. And that's also, I know that sometimes the ethical doesn't really resonate with people, and especially some clients, they all have to look at P&L and stuff, but I think when you manage to actually crack that nut, really manage to get in their minds that it is a business and it's a business opportunity, it's a big one as well. I think that's when it really starts working, because exactly as you said, what's not to like?
100%. I think businesses want to do the right thing. And business also has to make money as well. For Future Ready, I will pitch Future Ready very much as an innovation program rather than a sustainability program. Sustainability is writ large through this, but innovation actually is a much richer phrase for business rather than sustainability, which can, sometimes can have sometimes a bit of a connotation.
So what can you tell to our colleagues that could help them doing this journey in a more pleasant way, perhaps?
Keep your passion. We have to be passionate about this. We spend long enough in our jobs. You've got to be passionate, and what a fantastic field that we are working in. Keep learning. I continue to learn, and I learn both in terms of the day-to-day conversations that I have with our teams, but also just through, I read a lot of journals. I read a lot of media as well, and that keeps my learning fresh.